Это, вот это было. Ну, это было. красивые. Так. Это... Так.
Professor Terence Tao is the equivalent of a rock star in mathematics.
Regarded as the greatest mathematician alive.
As long as I can remember, I've always loved numbers and puzzles and patterns. Sometimes because of the way it's taught, an innate mathematical ability doesn't feel connected to the way we learn math. But I think we all have an innate ability for mathematics. Knowing how to think mathematically can be a tool that you can use to solve problems in a systematic way. I like to think that this class is for anyone, really. In fact, maybe this class is even more suitable for people who have not had formal mathematical training. I'm not going to give you homework. The way I approached problems in mathematics was to try to turn it into a game. A large part of this class will be about talking about problem solving. We abstract them, we break them up into pieces, we make analogies, we try to find connections with other problems. The first player who can collect 3 numbers that add up to 15 wins the game. Playing this game is quite challenging if you don't know the trick. You can transform this to a much more familiar game, tic-tac-toe. People often anthropomorphize mathematical objects. They call this guy the enemy, this guy is your friend. Some people call them slightly more obscene names. Okay, but in this class you'll appreciate a little bit more what mathematics is, how we solve problems, and how some of these strategies can be of use to you in your daily life. The ideal problem to work on is one which is just barely outside of your reach. It's not so much whether you succeed or fail at a question, but it's whether you can learn something from it. My name is Terence Tao, and this is Masterclass.
Video by accident, in which case I say hello. Now, today is an exciting day for most of you because we are going to be learning about the remaining key signatures which were not covered in level 5 RCM. So it's an exciting day. but for some of you it might also be a somber and tragic day, because today is the day you are going to learn about double sharps and double flats. It's a very sad affair. So on that note, let's start with those. Double sharps are a symbol that we use to indicate that the note we are looking at has been raised by 2 semitones. And I will show you what that looks like in a minute. And a double flat, on the other hand, is the opposite. A double flat looks like 2 flats right beside each other, and it is a symbol we use to show that the pitch has been lowered by 2 semitones. Now, before I explain why those exist, let's just look at what they are on the piano. So, when you were a child, you were taught that this is the note F. This is the note F. You also know now that the note above this black note, is F sharp. And because you're smart, you also know that the note below this is F flat. So we have F, F sharp, and F flat. Now, believe it or not, with double sharps we can now go F, F sharp, and this note, formerly known as your friend G, has now become a frightening figure, F double sharp. So if you see the note F on the stave, if there's a sharp beside it, it's F sharp. And if there's an X beside it, you're looking at a double sharp, which is really F, F sharp, F double sharp. Now let's look at F flat and F double flat. This is F again, F natural. If we lower this pitch by 1 semitone, we get F flat. Enharmonically, the note E. And if we lower F by 2 semitones, this E flat, or D sharp, in the context of the note F, is F double flat. So if you see an F and 2 flats beside it, visually on the piano, that's this note here, which you can think of as E flat or F double flat. Now, because I've taught this lesson 8 quadrillion times, I know the question you're wondering is, why do I need to know double sharps and double flats? Why is this note F double flat when I can just simply go about living my life peacefully and call it the note E flat? Why do we need it? The reason, there's a lot of reasons, but the reason for today is to facilitate leading tones in the new key signatures we are going to learn. So last year in level 5, you learned that natural minor scales, the 7th scale degree, is called the subtonic, which is a whole step below the tonic. And by raising that note 1 semitone, we play D sharp in our heads, and I played a D sharp minor harmonic scale. So that's just one example of why double sharps are useful, and you're going to need them in grade 6, because we're dealing with new key signatures. The 3 new sharp key signatures you're going to learn are B major, which has 5 sharps, sharp major, which has 6 sharps, and C sharp major, which has 7 sharps. The relative minor of B major is G sharp minor. The relative minor of F sharp major is D sharp minor, which we just played. And the relative minor of C sharp major is A sharp minor. Now, in flatland, there's, again, 6 new scales you have to learn. There's 5 flats is D flat major, G flat major has 6 flats, and C flat major has 7 flats, which is enharmonically the key of B major. The relative minor of D flat major is B flat minor. The relative minor of G flat major is E flat minor, and the relative minor of C flat major is A flat minor. So you need to know all those scales, all their key signatures, and the relationship between the majors and minors. And that's your job to go memorize them before you start this week's homework. Now, the last thing that's included in this lesson before I turn off the camera is new scale degree names. Now in level 5, if you remember, we learned about scale degree 1, 4, 5, and 2 scale degree 7s. Scale degree 1 is called the tonic, which is the first note of the scale. Scale degree 4 is called the subdominant. Scale degree 5 is called the dominant. And you remember that the 7th note of a natural minor scale is called the subtonic, and the 7th note of a natural minor scale is called the subtonic,